Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you guys here today. And today is a big day. We did mention this a little bit yesterday because it had just launched literally like as we were speaking. Coinbase has now filed an amicus brief, a friend of the court, in support of XRP. So this is big, major deal here. Coinbase says here, as the largest cryptocurrency trading platform in the United States by trading volume, Coinbase has a unique perspective on the issues at stake in the matter. Specifically, after this action was filed, multiple U.S. exchanges delisted XRP, causing its market value to decline by $15 billion.
If you're ready to earn an extra $200 to $3,000 per day in passive income, just like the Run Guys do every single day, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, then click the link in the description of this video to learn the Run Guys' #1 way to start earning passive income online with crypto today.
We are also going to be jumping into the charts for XRP. So there's lots and lots to cover today. It's going to be really exciting. We got a bunch of news we're going to cover for XRP. A bunch of stuff has come out over Twitter we're going to jump into for XRP. We will also look at the charts, like I said, weekly, daily, 4-hour for XRP. We're also going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Shiba Inu charts in today's video as well. So hey, if you're new here, my name is Ryan Huggins. I'm a crypto and real estate investor here in Orange County, California. And my job is to help be your crypto shortcut. So if you're like most people, you probably don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the charts and hours a day reading through articles, but that is what we do here at this channel, and we bring that information to you in a condensed manner. So if you're looking for a crypto shortcut, smash that subscribe button. Right now, we are showing green, XRP up green again, 0.17. Very similar to what happened yesterday. It was up by a minuscule amount, but then ended up taking off to the upside, and we'll do a much deeper dive on the charts here, but that support level of that 45 cent still coming in handy. And also it did not break out of our ascending channel that we've been talking about. We do have a potential bearish flag here, right? So the top from here to here, this is the flagpole dropping us down to 35 cents. We're going to take a look at that on the daily charts. RSI looking bearish, but what we covered yesterday, we were very bullish yesterday in our video on these lower time frames. So right now being the 15-hour candle here. Yesterday we recorded at the 15-hour candle. We actually were on a little early yesterday. We were about here. It was riding this trend line, and we talked about this lower time frame being very bullish. So the hourly was here in the bullish, the green background. We also had the 24-minute over here, right? Let's go back in time. Where are we at? So right in here yesterday, boom, massive move to the upside. Very exciting, even on these smaller time frames. So we'll take a look. Are we in bullish lower time frames here still, or are we starting to have a pullback? We'll deep dive into that. But first, XRP lawsuit. The SEC case takes surprising turn as Coinbase asked court for permission to support Ripple. In a series of tweets on October 31st, Halloween, Coinbase's chief legal officer, Paul Grewell, announced that the exchange had asked U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres for permission to submit an amicus brief, also known as a friend of the court in the SEC enforcement action yesterday. And this, we talked a lot about the amicus briefs and all of them that have been coming out. This is very rare for a case at this lower level of a court to have so many amicus briefs coming forward. I believe this is 9 now. And usually that only happens when you move to higher levels of court. So like an appeals court or even the Supreme Court. Could this move all the way to the Supreme Court? Yes, it could, but it's looking more and more like XRP. Well, actually, sorry, Ripple, right? So it's the company Ripple who's in the lawsuit. XRP is just the coin, but Ripple is looking stronger and stronger as we keep going. So nearly 2 years ago, SEC sued Ripple and former CEO Chris Larson and the current CEO Brett Garlinghouse for allegations that they raised $1.3 billion through unregistered XRP cryptocurrency for selling the tokens. And back then, if you remember, it was actually the actual coin itself was called Ripple. Even the logo, they had to change the name, they had to change the logo. They did do that to XRP. So that way there was a differentiation between Ripple, the actual company, versus the token that's used for the cross-border payments changing. Ripple and allies fight back against the SEC. If Coinbase's request is granted, the company will join crypto industry lobbyist group, the Blockchain Association, crypto payments app, Spin the Bits, nonprofit organization, Investor Choice Advocates Network, in hoping of bolstering Ripple's defense. And in some also major news that happened yesterday, the filing comes shortly after Rhode Island attorney John Deaton asked the court overseeing the case for permission to also file an amicus brief. And that has also been written and filled out now. So if you are interested and you like to get down to the nitty-gritty details, I don't have time to spend hours going over every single tweet that comes out, but there's a couple of people, if you want to follow, that you need to follow. So obviously Ripple, the company that's in the case. Digital Asset Investor, follow them as well. John Deaton, follow them on Twitter. Jeremy Hogan, follow them. And of course, James Phelan. Also, major breaking news that just came out as well, and this was tweeted out 8 hours ago. Ripple, obviously very important in the case, right? But the SEC also has a case against a company called Library, all right? And below is a transcript of the summary judgment hearing of the SEC versus Library. So you can go through, if you would like to, and read all of the details in that. And more additional information here. Fall Hill Capital LLC has requested permission to file an amicus brief in support of Ripple's defendant's motion of summary judgment as well. So the proposed brief is Exhibit A. You can go ahead and read that information there also. The Crypto Council for Innovation has requested to submit an amicus brief as well. And you can read that right there if you would like also. And of course, the big Mac Daddy of them all is Coinbase files the request for amicus brief. This is a really big deal. Now, when it comes to the amicus brief also submitted, which we didn't even cover yet, from John Deaton, he's representing 75,000 XRP holders as well. So very, very important stuff. And Jeremy Hogan is a great lawyer that's covering, or attorney that's covering, the whole entire case. So if you want to get like the nitty gritty exact information, he's basically there all day following the case. Here is a nice clip about the Coinbase amicus brief information.
Have just filed to support Ripple against the SEC case. What can you tell us about that?
So we've not only filed we filed an amicus brief, a friends of the court brief, in supporting the Ripple litigation. We've also done it with the Grayscale ETP. And just broadly speaking, these are issues of, fair notice, meaning regulators need to give the market fair notice of expected conduct before they take an enforcement action. I think it's been very clear over the past 5 years. The rules have been unclear. It's not clear how to what the SEC is asking for generally. In July, we actually filed a petition for rulemaking, which is very unusual for an entity to ask a regulator to be regulated. And
so remember, one of the big claims that's coming out of Ripple is that they're just making up rules and laws as they go to punish Ripple. Because they just need to, they want to.
The reason we did that is because there's a lot of uncertainty on where different regulators have authority. And what's missing today is a digital asset securities market. There is no way to tokenize equity or debt, trade it, or issue it. There's no rule set that exists today under the SEC's purview to pursue that. And there's a lot of ambiguity on whether or not the SEC should have authority over commodities. And that's what the DCCPA is trying to help draw the line, what the CFTC's authority over commodity is and what the SEC's authority over securities is. And so the reason we file these amicus briefs is because all the policy as of today is being done in the courts, right? So the decisions the courts are going to make are going to help draw these lines. And so until we have affirmative notice and comment rulemaking at agencies and legislation passed to mandate that, our only recourse is to have this discussion, debate in the courts. And that's why we filed those amicus briefs in support of Ripple and Grayscale.
All right, and that brings me to the next clip. And this is where Jeremy Hogan is going over the information that was covered about the $15 billion issue.
Page 19 of Deaton's brief. Quote, the SEC was well aware that the mere filing of this case would cause multi-billion losses to innocent third parties. He's citing to Mr.
And those innocent third parties are you and me if you're holding XRP, because the fact that once this happened, the market tanked for XRP, and it's been in a stranglehold of this court battle ever since.
Breakfast letter. His warning was more than accurate because the damages were more than $15 billion, and the disruption of numerous innovative applications of XRP resulted. Buried underneath the $15 billion in losses are real people who have been severely harmed, not by market volatility, but because at best, the SEC fundamentally misunderstands the underlying technology, or at worst, has been deliberately misleading so as to arrogate for the SEC optionality as this litigation progressed, close quote. And that, I think, sums up what the judge needs to learn from this brief. Real people harmed by a government agency that is supposed to be protecting them, but apparently has bigger priorities other than protecting investors. Look at page.
Now, there's also a deeper dive, okay? Because remember, when Hinman was at the SEC, he said that Ethereum and Bitcoin were not a security, but then later on, they're suing Ripple because of offering XRP. They're saying it's a security. Well, check this out right here. Ex-release coordinator for Ethereum, Vinay Gupta, exposing Ethereum and what they're doing, basically taking advantage of the retail investor whistleblower alert.
There are a bunch of people that have a shit ton of Ether. Right. I sold out $14 a coin. We broke our legal situation, right? The foundation did something stupid.
So he sold all of his Ethereum when it was $14 a coin. And right now, ETH is trading at $1,572. So obviously taking quite the beating as far as a loss goes, but you'll understand why.
That exposed all of us to a shit ton of liability. And at that point, my choice was divesting or moving to a jurisdiction without an extradition treaty with the US. So I divested, knowing that it was going to cost me tens of millions of dollars. Full whack, it would have cost me $56 million.
So he sold his Ethereum. Now, this may or may not have been a smart choice, right? But I'm just telling you, coming from someone who was at Ethereum, he decided to sell it $14 instead of moving to like some other country where he could keep all of it and sell it whenever he wanted. But he sold it at $14 and took that hit. Now at market value, he said he's losing $56 million, but he's feeling safer because he doesn't hold any Ethereum.
So what I should really have done is move to a place with no extradition treaty with the US and accepted that I was hiding out. But such is life. The Yang, so what they're doing is this. You've got $500 million worth of Ether, right? You can't sell $500 million worth of Ether without crashing the Ether price. So what you're looking for is ways of turning your Ether into money in ways which you don't crash the Ether price by selling out and turning it into dollars. This is the core goal. So what they've discovered is a whole bunch of weird protocols that allow people to borrow, to lend money, lend their Ether out, and then claim interest on the Ether, which is then paid in real currencies. So what we're doing is we're building a whole kind of speculative leverage market. You've got 1,000 Ether. You want to buy more Ether because you think the price is going up. So you borrow money against your 1,000 Ether into another token, then you sell those tokens for more Ether. And so you've got all of this kind of leveraged financialization stuff going on. The critical thing is that it's all zero sum. Every penny made in these markets is being lost somewhere else in the system. And the non-zero sum use of crypto is like 0.25% of the total transaction volume. So to all intents and purposes, what we've gotten is very, very, very aggressive, unregulated crypto speculation.
So what he's saying there is these OGs, right? The original Ethereum guys, or even people that maybe they weren't involved in the Ethereum program, but they have not 1,000 Ether. They have tens of thousands of Ether. They can put it into a DeFi protocol. They can collect interest on all of that money and they can actually keep that because they're getting paid out in USDT, but they don't ever have to actually sell their Ethereum. But Ethereum, the reason I'm talking about this though, is because Ethereum, as I said, the SEC claims Ethereum and Bitcoin are not securities, but they're trying to shut down XRP because it could be a competition against Ethereum. But that's all speculation. That's all the conspiracy theories out there. The people that are very supportive of Ripple and the XRP coin think that there is a concerted effort to shut out XRP because they want the CBDC, central bank digital currencies, to run on Ethereum rather than what they're using right now, the XRP ledger, because it's already approved that XRP can do it. Jumping over here to Ripple's Twitter page, 90% of central banks are exploring CBDCs, up from 80% in 2021. This growth has potential of revolutionizing the current financial system, our blog explains. So you can also go to ripple.com, and they do have great news here. Even this one that just popped out, the global financial system can and should be more efficient. That's starting to happen as crypto solutions make a real impact on FIs and businesses around the world, financial institutions. And then over here, before we jump straight into the charts, let's see what's trending as far as news goes all around crypto. Japan's city, Toda, introduces metaverse schooling to fight absenteeism. So instead of people not going to school, they can go to school in the metaverse. Remembering Three Arrows Capital, Suzu in 10 legendary tweets. XRP lawsuit, we just covered that one. ADA, Cardano's largest monthly on-chain stats are in. The numbers are far from scary. So ADA continues to get volume and usage on their platform, which is good for them. Survey, over 50% of Democrat and Republican voters agree crypto is the future of finance. Former DAI stablecoin developer Nikolai Mushkin drowns in Puerto Rico. And layer 2 solution Boba Network integrates with BNB chain. Now, I did want to see here, because I read this on Twitter earlier today. I wonder if they're covering it here. This is the guy from MakerDAO, okay? And he had recently tweeted some crazy stuff here. Notable blockchain developer Nikola Mushkin died at the age of 29. He was the co-founder of Balancer and former contributor to MakerDAO. So looking through this article, it does not cover it, but he has been recently tweeting out some really strange stuff. And I saw this earlier. This Dylan Leclerc had tweeted out the 29-year-old co-founder of MakerDAO, Nikolai, has been found dead in San Juan, Puerto Rico, just 3 days after tweeting the following from his personal Twitter account. And he tweeted out, CIA, Mossad, and Pedo Elite are running some kind of trafficking, entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and Caribbean islands. They're going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death. And then 3 days later, he ends up dying. So crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, it just absolutely, it's crazy, right? So what happened here really? So was he saying that because he was covering for himself? I don't know. If you guys know, let me know down in the comment section what's going on. And let's jump into the charts.
If you're ready to earn an extra $200 to $3,000 per day in passive income, just like the Run Guys do every single day, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, then click the link in the description of this video to learn the Run Guys' #1 way to start earning passive income online with crypto today.
All right, so first and foremost, let's jump back to the daily charts here and let's zoom out a little bit. So as we see, price yesterday did rebound off of our 50 exponential moving average nicely to the upside, ran into our 14 exponential moving average and rejected off of there. Still in this channel, it has hit a support here, pushed to the upside here, and now we're rejecting again at the 14 exponential moving average. Even though it had a severe drop here early in the day, quite the battle back. So we were green when we started this video. We've now flipped to red. So it's really just a neutral day. And yesterday when we were recording here, we did talk about the lower level, smaller time frame bullish looking scenarios, because we had broken above our market baseline here on our RSI TDI, flipping our background to green from black, right? So it went green. It was more trading sideways here, got a little bearish activity here, crossed back up to the upside, and it moved up nicely for several hours. In fact, it peaked out here at 16. So basically for the next 2 hours after we were done recording the video, boom, shot up to the upside, came back down, tested that bottom level of this channel that we're talking about, moved up again to this support resistance level here, and sure enough has rejected off of there multiple times now. So we'll extend this back out to here. So this is our resistance level here, 46593. 46593 in that zone as far as that goes. Now, what we've been talking about on our other charts that we're following over here is price has been running up, and it's looking to make its way back up here to this 47-cent zone. So we are still looking bullish here on our 1 hour time frame. If we jump to the daily time frames, we're still in a bearish situation, even though we are moving to the upside nicely, right? So even though we're in this potential bearish scenario here, market baseline's coming down, we have had continued growth, even though it's trading in this channel. I mean, it even in this bearish market, when it flipped back over from 42 cents to a top recently of 48 cents, so a nice 6-cent rise at its bottom to peak, even though we are not in a bullish scenario on the daily. So you can see here when we flipped bullish before, right back here, it had a really nice push to the upside. Right now we flipped to the downside and it's not doing anything, trading sideways. So that's looking good for XRP as far as that goes. We are looking for a break to the upside that does need to happen. We're starting to turn back to the upside here. Another day to the downside may give us another turn down. And as we've been following along, though, our weekly chart looks very bullish. So that is a really good sign, right? So we're green background. We're above the 50 where the bulls are taking control. After a 3-week consecutive down move, we have a nice up move green candle here. We've recently had a bullish breakout of the trend as well. Came down, retesting that trend line multiple times, but it just can't seem to make the full break to the upside. So we're continuing to watch that. As we look here on the 10-minute charts, we have a short-term bearish scenario on the 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We're still looking bullish here. We need to see a nice crossover here, which we did have a bounce back, which is good. This candle is bouncing back to the upside. If this next 15 minutes candle starts to break to the downside, we could see the transition from the green background to the black, and we would see a continued drop with the bullish or the bearish scenario kicking in on the 15 minutes. The 1 hour looking bullish here, tons and tons of room to move up to the 70 level on the RSI, getting to the overbought territory. We have the breakout confirmation of the trend as well, typically meaning it will run all the way up to that point. So depending on the markets, earnings are coming out in the stock markets. We've been seeing lots and lots of volatility, ups and downs this whole week. Also checking in on the dollar. Remember, whatever the dollar's doing, crypto will typically do the opposite. So right now in the 1 hour charts, we're looking very bullish. We did just recently have a bearish divergence occur, trading sideways out of that. Looking on our dailies here, dailies also looking bearish. Interesting, actually. So we've been talking about how XRP may replace the dollar, right? So XRP becoming the actual currency, the CBDC in the future. Well, if we look at the charts, XRP is trading much more closely, positively with the dollar than Bitcoin or Ethereum. So you can see here, we've had this run, right? So obviously we're trading sideways, but when we look at Dixie, we've had this run, we're trading sideways. When we look at Ethereum, we've had this downward run trading sideways. Now we've been having recently this bullish move to the upside, and the dollar has not really tanked like it's supposed to for crypto to move up. So as we can see, price did peak out 114 on the US dollar, the Dixie index. came down to our supply and demand zone that we were talking about here, based upon our Heikin-Ashi supply and demand zone right here on this candle, came and tapped it exactly, battling back to the upside. It is currently in its resistance box, but it's trying to battle through there. And if we drop this down to the 4-hour charts, the resistance box, let's get rid of this one here, would be the last blue candle before the up move. It would be this one right here. Red would be our 4-hour. Okay. And then the next one, well, we've got all of this fighting, but we're in this level right here. So this historical supply and demand zone, it came down, dropped below it to this longer time frame one, bounced off as a support, came up, checking its level here and moving to the upside. We could see the next bounce level. It needs to break above this one that it's currently sitting at now. It's tried to break it, did not, rejected in fact, but its next level to the upside will be coming back somewhere in here to the $111.90. Checking here on XRP's 4-hour. This is what we've been talking about this now for a long time. Obviously, we're trading in that channel, but we've been talking about how price has been riding along this 1100 exponential moving average in its own little range. And if price, like it's at a stalemate right now. And it all depends on which way this 50 exponential moving average is going to go. If the 50 decides to officially cross under and stay under, we could see a crash. You can see it crossed under here. We had a little micro dip, but then it bounced back up. When it did, boom, price shot up. Coming back down here, coming back down here. You can see every time it tries to get close, price dips a little. But right now, we have on the 4-hour time frame, we've crossed up to bullish. So we're bullish on the 4-hour time frame. On the daily time frame, it's wanting to cross back up above the 50. It's struggling to break back above the 14 exponential moving average. But if it does, it could see its run to the upside. And like we've been talking about, it needs to fight through all this and get itself back up into this 51-cent zone. Our big targets that we're looking at on the larger scale of things for XRP, when we take a look here at the weekly charts, we'll jump back over to this chart here. We are looking at 45 cents, obviously being support. We want to see this thing break to the upside and continue its move. Again, we have the weekly breakout confirmation. And typically when the confirmation comes, especially on smaller time frames, it will move its way all the way up to the overbought territory. And that would send price for sure back up to that 55-cent level. After we claim 55 cents as a support again, so we've got support now at 45 cents. We want to see this move up, claim 55, then we move to 65, and so on. Looking at our weekly charts, it's very possible that this does play out. But we do need to continue tracking this daily, so make sure you subscribe and follow along with us as we follow XRP on its journey to the upside. Jumping over here to Ethereum. Ethereum's daily chart has now got a bearish doji candle on the Heikin-Ashis. It again rejected, but you know what it has not done? It still has not broken below this 1575. So we're still looking bearish here. We are extremely overbought. We've talked about that numerous times. If we go to the Japanese candlesticks, we've now had 3 consecutive red candles, trying to the upside, continuing to reject. So that's not very bullish scenario there. And we're really overbought. This has a potential of coming down for a correction. Looking at the weekly charts, the weekly charts is crazy bullish. The one thing I don't like on the weekly charts is this fair value gap. Oh, let me turn one of these off here. What are we not using? Oh, we have fair value gap right there. There's a massive fair value gap. Last week was such an explosion in price. It left this big fair value gap to the downside, or an imbalance, whatever you want to call it. And there is a likelihood that it will come and fill all of that. And even jumping to the daily, there's a fair value gap here. The 50% level is usually what gets filled. That puts us at 14.15. And that would also put us right here back at the 50 and also back at market baseline, where it could then return back to the upside. So still remaining bullish on the daily, but it does look like there's a potential for a correction. On the smaller time frame here on the hour, it's looking bearish, but it's just trading sideways. It is at one of its support and resistance levels here, that 1575. It continues to go up and down around that very key level. And then last time it came down recently, it did tap off this 1550 level, bounced back up, a really large bounce actually, from 1550 all the way up to this 1615-ish area, 4% move. For those of you that are day traders, that's a really, really solid move there. And as you can see, what did it do? It went and filled the fair value gap here. And that's even on the 1 hour. So let's turn that on. You can see there was a full fair value gap. It went and filled all of it. So we have overhead resistance at 1592. We're currently sitting at a support resistance battle at 1575. Support down to the bottom side is at 1550. Looking over here at Bitcoin, we're on the hourly. Let's jump to the daily charts here. Daily chart still reading very bullish. Moving averages sloping up extremely hard, just coming down for a little correction. Yesterday, when it did come down for a correction, it did bounce off that support level, 20,242. Today is a down negative candle. It is turned red now, down 0.16%. So, I mean, again, basically a neutral day. It also went and filled one of its larger fair value gaps here, filled it up to the 50 level. So we have a potential bearish move here where it has crossed back in over the volatility line. It's got the red background. You can see what happens when we have a red background. It kind of crashes there. So we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin as well. Taking a look at Shiba Inu, it ran all the way up, closed out a fair value gap that was left on the daily. That's exactly where price ran to, rejected from there, came back down, now bouncing off of this long-term trend line all the way back from the June lows, and it is acting as a support as we talk right now. Prices continue to move up. You can see right now that the RSI is moving its way up to the overbought territory. It's pretty extreme over the volatility level. You can see the market baseline starting to slope up, moving averages sloping up, looking very bullish all through there. On the weekly time frame, also looking bullish as well for Shiba Inu. And on a smaller time frame down here at the hourly, now we're getting into more of a bearish scenario on this smaller time frame. You can see when it did cross to the bearish side of things for a moment here, turned red, same thing here, but now we're really trading sideways. It's got a good little support in this area. Currently trading at quad 0.1285. Let's check out on the Heikin-Ashi candles, supply and demand zones. We have one here. Quad 0.1286 is the resistance level it's running into at the moment. And then to the downside support level, we've got one here at quad 0.1250. So it's trading in this little channel. We'll continue to track that as we go along as well. Like I said, the 1 hour is looking bearish, has a potential to continue its move down because it has now run into this resistance barrier. We'll see if it comes back down to this level here and if it holds support. All right, so going back to XRP, let's check the rundown one more time on the scale. So the 5-minute is looking bullish. The 15-minute is looking bullish. The 30-minute is mixed. The 1 hour, if it does not hold, so on the 1 hour, let's go back to the 1 hour for XRP. XRP is getting to a top here. It's getting pretty overbought. It's running out of steam here a little bit. If XRP were to drop below this 50 moving average right here, if it drops below here and breaks structure, so if it breaks below, what is that, 46 cents, we could see a drop back to the 45-cent level we've been talking about, at least to this level here, 45,123. So right now, it's the 1 hour where it's starting to convert to potentially bearish. The 4 hour is bearish. The daily is bullish. So really, it's the 1 hour and the 4 hour that we have to track. If those can flip back to positive, so if we can flip the 4 hour back to positive, which it signals that it has here, As long as this thing does not break back down and it doesn't break below this 46 level, the red 50 exponential moving average doesn't cross below the 1100 exponential moving average, and we have a crash to the downside, we're going to be looking strong. We need to flip the 4 hour and the 1 hour back to bullish, and we're very close to doing that. We could see a nice rise. If for some reason they decide to crash and turn and bounce, so that this could be a ricochet when we come back down. So like I said, we're going to continue tracking that. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll follow up with you tomorrow.
If you're ready to earn an extra $200 to $3,000 per day in passive income, just like the Run Guys do every single day, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, then click the link in the description of this video to learn the Run Guys' #1 way to start earning passive income online with crypto today.